Alright, hey guys, this is Rudy, and this video is going to be a lot different than any of my previous videos. It's not for all of you. This video is not for general viewing. If you want to view it, you're welcome to, but you're going to be bored to death. I'm sure many of you are sick and tired of hearing about 9/11. You're sick and tired of talking about it and looking at videos of it. I know that I'm getting to that point. But I need to make a set of videos with a list of reasons why I believe like I do, not for people in the Patriot community and already aware of all these things, but for the new people that I meet. And in this video, it's unscripted. I don't have really like a bullet points that I want to talk to, and I'm going to make a lot of mistakes, and you're going to see a different side of me where I just yammer and I'm going to falter, and that's fine. Nonetheless, this is going to be, I'm going to let you inside my mind on why I think the way that I do regarding 9/11, and my official position is that I think we need a further investigation into 9/11. And I'm going to go through all kinds of different things that come out of my mind, and it's probably going to be boring as hell to most of you, but I need this set of videos for when I get into a discussion with new people where I can say, if you really want to know why I believe the way I do, you need to go watch those videos. And I just don't have time to cover, it all over again. I need something that's repeatable. And I wish that I had the time, to make a really production effort. But there's already production videos out there. There's already Loose Change 2nd Edition. You got the Architects and Engineers that have a YouTube website. And you have David Ray Griffin's book about World Trade Center 7. So I could just point them to the resources, but I feel like I would be lazy if I didn't make my own set of videos with my own mouth speaking about the reasons that I believe 9/11 was an inside job. And let me just give you a hypothetical situation. And again, if you want to cut this video off now, feel free to do so. Again, this video is mainly for me so that I can point new people to this video. So I don't want to bore you. I don't want to waste your time. But here we go. Let's imagine a hypothetical situation. And let's say that I meet somebody new. They're still asleep. They're not aware of the New World Order. They're not aware of an effort for the elite of the world to push towards a one world government. They're not aware of the North American Union. They're not aware of the evilness of the Federal Reserve. So let's say that I just meet him. I just meet him on the street. And somehow the topic opens up to politics, worldviews, and religion. So it's like I say, hey, I'm a Christian, and I believe in the teachings of Jesus Christ. And people are generally open to that, and that's the most important topic I can talk about ever in my whole life. So that usually discussion goes very well. And if it's a militant atheist, it may not go so well, but I don't find a lot of those, right? Most atheists I talk to are willing to, have a civil discussion about religion. So the conversation moves on from religion, and let's say that I talk about, hey, I think that we should have a smaller form of government. Government has gotten too big. It's infringing on our liberties. I believe in, a lot of the philosophies and writings of Ayn Rand, Ron Paul. I don't blindly follow those people, but I align with a lot of their views. I think we should have a smaller government. And I think that people should be individually responsible for their own lives, and the government should not be controlling our lives and having, so much infringement upon our society. And, our national debt is out of control. And then the conversation usually gets to the Federal Reserve. And I'll say, did you know that the Federal Reserve was not even a federal government institution? It's a private institution. And that they're usually surprised about that. Then I go on to talk about, The Creature from Jekyll Island by J. Edward Griffin. I talk about the book Ron Paul and the Fed. And then, I'll try to bring up how evil the Fed is and how they are the lifeblood of, the big government that is ruining everything. And it's taking us away from our freedoms and our liberties discussed in the Constitution. The subject of the Second Amendment may come up, and I talk about all the amendments: freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of assembly, the right to bear firearms, which I'm very I'm very, huge proponent of. And then we talk about, what else? Illegal search and seizure amendment, which, I don't think the government should have the right to illegal search and seizure. And at this point, the conversation's gone really well. I've talked about religion. I've talked about big government. I've talked about, the Constitution, Ron Paul, the philosophies of Ayn Rand, and everything's usually cool up until this point, right? But then I go a little bit step further, and here's where I lose people. Here's where the majority of mainstream people where I have a conversation, they just completely cannot grasp what I'm talking about, and I go from a reasonable guy to a guy who's completely off his rocker and loses all credibility. Is when I start talking about the New World Order and my views of 9/11. That's where I completely lose them. And so I have to make a decision. Do I keep my views of 9/11 a secret in order to retain credibility, or do I openly discuss my views on 9/11? Now, my attitude is I don't want to hold anything back. And I've spent literally, I don't know how many hundreds of hours over the past 2 years or so going through a vast amount of material on 9/11. And usually, the conversation is met with such shock that it's very difficult to discuss all the things that need to be discussed. So I made an Excel spreadsheet with a list, and I plan to go through that list in these series of videos. And again, I don't want to waste your time, and I'm only going to say this once, but if I bore you to death or you've already heard all this, don't continue to watch me, right? You may have heard all this already, but I need to make a list of videos for me that when I get into this conversation, I can easily point to and say, if you want to know my views on 9/11, go see these videos, because I'm tired of telling people. I'm tired of covering it over and over and over again. And I have deep convictions that there needs to be a further investigation into 9/11. That opens me up to a lot of ridicule. It opens me up to being a wacko nut job. As a matter of fact, I'll put a press article on the screen here, but people have been institutionalized for publicly saying or believing that 9/11 was an inside job. It's a very dangerous conversation to have with anybody at work. And also it usually brings in a whole slew of, do you think the Jews done it or do you think the Muslims done it? And there are people that are obsessed with hating Islam and Muslims. And that's fine. That's your right to do that, right? It's your right to hate a certain set of people if that's what you want to do. And there are a certain set of people that need Islam to be completely responsible for what happened on 9/11 so they can justify all the hatred they have. And if you've ever familiar with history, if you're familiar with George Orwell's Animal Farm, if you've read Brave New World and you know about, I think it's Silverstein or Goldstein, it's Goldstein, how they have, in Animal Farm it was Snowball, in Brave New World it was Goldstein, I believe, but they have to have somebody who's like a heat sink for hatred. There has to be like this guy that everybody focuses their hatred on. And that's the government needs that. And in our case, it's Osama bin Laden. And, saying that Osama bin Laden may not have been 100% responsible for what happened on 9/11 is a very dangerous thing to say in mainstream society, because most people have been conditioned to hate that man with every fiber of their being. Now, I'm no fan of Islam. I do not want to live in an Islamic Muslim society with Sharia law. But having stated that, I don't hate Muslims, all Muslims. I know a lot of good Muslims, and they just want to live a good ethical life. They're hardworking people, and I just don't carry around a deep-seated hatred for Muslims. Now, a lot of people will say, well, the Jews did 9/11. You must be a Jew hater. I'm going to be very honest with you. I'm going to speak openly, and these are very difficult subjects, and they're difficult for me to talk about. And I'm going to yammer. My words may not come out eloquent. I don't pretend to be a good orator. however you say that word. And